No. Any bruises or anything? No.
I'm already recording.
Okay.
Cordial.
We can call to order the August 24th, 2023 meeting of the North Beach Planning Commission. We have 3 items on the agenda tonight. We have we have the confirmation of meeting minutes from the last meeting, as well as a replatting for 8826 Greenwood and category 1 review for 3919 5th Street. The approval of minutes. There's an option, I guess, for us to approve these today. I was not at the previous meeting. The meeting notes apparently were done rather quickly, and we just want to make sure they represent the discussion from the last meeting. Yeah, so I will leave it up to the other members here to decide what they would like to do.
Well, based on what Stacy said, and we don't have copies of the minutes that you did up today. Do you?
That's them.
They're here. They're here. I mean, I'm happy to take, 3 or 4 minutes and have people want to review them now. And we could do.
Two agenda items. I mean.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take a few minutes for people to review them? If they need severe revisions, I guess we could request a redo. If people feel they're good enough or need some quick revisions, maybe we could just do that now.
Okay. Where are the minutes?
Hey. Oh.
Okay.
Minor.
All right.
Here, yeah, minor here, opening of meeting. I'm happy if you want to read mine. Where are these? Go here. Yeah, let's put this over here. You can just scroll with 2 fingers. Yeah.
There's one typo. The category 1 plan review for 4114 appeals. I'm missing a 4th line.
I think that the last group pretty much hit what we wanted to happen.
For 9106.
9106, right?
That's what I was a little concerned about.
Yeah, it took a while to get to
Yeah, it is.
the actual wording.
But I think you did hit the highlighted points, yeah.
I mean, the 3 of you can approve them if you think.
Right, we basically wanted to have something to actually see. We just didn't want per se, we wanted to see something, so.
What was that one from? I'm sorry.
For the 9106,
Chesapeake Avenue.
the very last paragraph.
Yeah, that's
The
part.
long discussion.
Kind of moving back and forth, so we're looking for kind
There
of
may be some movement
a
on that when it
position
comes back.
so that we could
But I think this covered the points that we wanted to see. So I think Stacy hit it.
I think you guys gave them enough information on what you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
move it forward to the Board of Appeals. So we'll come back and,
And just for my own knowledge, 9106 is the one we worked on before,
yes,
with the apartments and the parking issue in the back and the
Yeah.
access in the back. Okay,
Come back.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, great.
and there may be some movement on the lot next door, so.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Which way, to the right or left? Okay.
Great. If there aren't any other edits, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. The next item on the agenda is 8826 Greenwood, a replatting. Rick has done some notes for us. I feel like it's always good to get a quick readout from Rick on the background of this before we get into discussion. So Rick, maybe you could take a minute or two and
This is Greenwood, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I think Nick is on. This one is not a referral DOA. Everything is gonna meet the requirements and won't need any variances. No, even though where the lot sits there are some wetlands and other stuff that is close by. It's not in the critical area. It's not in the FEMA floodplain. So it's pretty much just a straightforward single family. I think these have been planned prior, years ago. Mr. Scott had proposed either 4 or 6 apartments there, an apartment building. He has since decided he's not gonna go that route. He's gonna start with this one and then probably move to tear down and rebuild the other 3 that are there.
so I'm still a little confused getting from the current platting to the proposed platting. Right. So the current one is obviously there on the first page. I guess I'm a little confused about, the arrows right there. Were you mentioning those, Bill? Like,
Flow.
So
that's
the
just flow. Okay.
Yeah, so you have
Okay.
you're pulling 2 grades heading toward the wetland.
Yeah, is that the, yeah,
Actually, are you talking about the arrows and the line that's shown on the replatting plat?
on the first page, on the current platting. They just confused me. That's no problem. That was my own confusion on there, so it
Well,
makes
those-
sense to me.
Those arrows are actually not flow. That's actually the critical area line.
Okay,
So this property is located within the critical area, and that's why we had to do the water quality management plan. The critical area line cuts through the property. That's the area, the arrows
That's it.
indicate the side of the critical area. That everything on that side with the arrows is within the critical area. Everything on the other side, north, is outside.
Okay, so everything on the Greenwood side is in critical area.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally these were, these were separate individual lots in the block. Apparently over the years, I guess, quite a while ago, the houses were built little bungalow cottages, like most of the ones that were in the town within, prior to, well, probably earlier than 70s and 80s when the houses started getting larger. There was a replatting done, looks like by Wilkerson in, looks like, I don't see a date on it. Oh, look, in 89. And they replatted all the block for the lots around the existing houses. Then Mr. Scott, I guess, was looking, like Rick had said, to develop it into apartments. And since then, he has decided not to move forward with that. So one of the houses was torn down subsequent to the replatting in '89, which is on the lot 2R that we're working on now. And we're basically just bringing the lot back to its original size and location before it was combined, combined when Mr. Scott was entertaining the idea of apartments. So we're basically just bringing lot 2R to the way it was replatted back in '89 and then building a house on it since the existing house was torn down. I don't know exactly when it was torn down, but it was after the '89 replatting at some point.
Yeah, I see where the critical error line is. I was looking at the wrong address. 8832 is on the outside.
Okay. And we're just looking at the replotting of this, and not anything else, parking. We're not looking at anything else other than that he wants to bring it back. Correct?
Well, no,
I'm-
we had submitted for the replatting and site plan review. That's why you have the site plan and the house plans also.
Oh, there you go.
I'm slightly confused on the replatting. Am I not catching this here? To me, the existing plat looks like the proposed plat, or am I goofing here? So,
Well, like I said before, the existing
This-
plat
this-
as it exists now, this is one property because like Rick had
This
told you
line
before,
isn't there.
Mr. Scott was trying
Oh,
to
I see.
develop
I'm
into
sorry. Okay.
apartments. Yeah,
okay, sorry. So I'm misreading
So
the
that-
here.
That
Yeah.
first document is the actual replat.
Okay, I was thinking that
And then
the
after that,
the first page of the document was the current platting, and okay, so currently it's one without the little angled kind of dog leg line. Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense.
So what we're doing is basically bringing this lot 2R back to its original size and location prior to the replatting that combined them all into one for the apartment design.
Okay, that all makes sense now.
What was the reason for putting in that dog leg instead of just making it a straight line?
Well, the replatting that was done by Wilkerson in '89, you can see that the existing 3 houses on there, they're all at a strange angle.
Angle, yeah.
Yeah, the replatting that they did basically
Keep the setback.
created lines and made all the property lines meet the setbacks from the existing houses. The existing house closest to us didn't meet it quite, but our lot and the other lots, actually, at that time in '89, they didn't actually make him show the setbacks on the property lines. So I'm not really sure, and I don't have any dimensions from where those existing houses were in relationship to the property lines on the '89 replatting. So I'm not really sure if they were keeping an eye on that or not, or if there was a variance involved. But that was the reason that the lines were at the angles that they are. They were trying to make them parallel, the side property lines parallel with the existing houses. And I guess also trying to make the houses meet the setbacks as close as possible based on the zoning ordinance.
Okay, I mean, that would explain that, but if you're going to demo those 3, then what's the logic behind keeping that dog leg in instead of just making it straight line lot lines?
Well, we're not demoing the other 3. We're just building a house on 2R. I know Rick had mentioned that Mr. Scott was thinking about tearing down the other ones, but he hasn't asked me to do any other work on those. I think he has renters in those, and he's happy with the way they are right now for now. Now on lot 2R, you can see that we put the house on there, and we for the new house, we've made it parallel to the front property line, and the property line to the furthest south is existing now. That's not changing, and that's perpendicular to the right of way. So we made the house parallel to that south property line, which is also, the front of the house will be parallel to the right of way of Greenwood Avenue. in the future, if he was to, tear down any of the other houses, we would probably fix, that side property line. We do have the option to do that, but he doesn't have any, he hasn't, asked me to do anything on those other properties or look into them. So I don't think he's worried about it right now.
Okay, I guess I'm just looking at it as if there is a potential that it would have to be replatted yet again.
It's
Would make more
possible, and that's why
sense to
we,
make
we,
everything
that's
straight.
why we, kept the house design the way it is. But he wanted to just go back to the original property line design that existed prior to the lots being combined into one, just to make things easier for now, because that house that is next door sits parallel to the way the line was previously.
Mm.
In the future, we can straighten up that line, and the house we're proposing can meet the 8-foot setback, no problem, and everything will be on the property.
Mhm.
If he was to do that in the future, or somebody else, but like I said, he didn't show or hasn't asked me to do anything about those other properties, wasn't interested in doing anything to them at this time, just wanted to replace the house that existed on this lot previously.
Okay. Technical question, Rick. Can we replat something if it's not a boundary survey?
Yeah, I mean, it gets recorded. It's not,
But do we need to be looking at a boundary survey to be able to make that decision?
I mean, we have basically done a boundary survey on this property, and the property boundary itself has already been recorded on 2 different replatings.
I only ask because of note number 5. That says it's not a boundary survey. And doesn't meet the minimum standards for a boundary survey. That is a special purpose survey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a standardized note the county has us put on all replatting plats. It's basically in Comar. This is replattings. There's no replatting referenced in Comar. So Comar, based on that, makes you put these notes as confirmed by the county, basically stating that this is a special purpose survey, that it's not a boundary survey, even though, like I said, the boundary of this property has already been recorded on 2 different replattings. And we have actually gone out there and done a boundary survey to reconfirm the boundary monumentation before we did our site plan, basically.
Okay.
Nick, and I have a question. The property, lot 1 to the, I guess, south of the 2R. What is that? Because that looks like it's smack onto the property line.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that as well.
I mean, it's
That
an
property line already-
existing house that, and Mr. Scott actually owns that house. I can't remember when he bought it, but it's been existing the way it is shown on here since he purchased it. I think he purchased it after he had owned the other properties to the, the one we're working on now, and those other 3 houses.
How old is the building? Do you know?
Let's see, I think I might have,
one to the left.
I guess the one to the south. Am I reading
yeah,
this correctly?
it's south.
Yeah. Just trying to get a sense of if that's gonna be a longer term building or if it's an older building, that's probably gonna be,
It's not that old.
No.
I mean, 20 years, maybe,
Yeah,
25
okay.
years, if I could get.
Because
yeah,
you-
I mean, that's a slight concern. That looks like less than a foot or, of,
Yeah, but that property line already exists. Doesn't have anything to do with the replat.
oh, does it? Oh, that's right. Sorry. That's right.
And then the new house is 8 feet off of that, so
Yep.
that house doesn't.
Okay.
1952 is the original, but it was in, I think there was 2 additions and
Yeah, they remodeled that. heck out of that.
remodel.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we, that's a driveway that's encroaching. So
What do you mean?
the house from,
Lot 1,
yeah, lot 1, the driveway is encroaching on this proposed lot 2R.
Yeah, and I'd had some discussion with Rick previously about that. I think he said that you guys might bring it up and it could be an issue. I think the only alternative I can think of is maybe, since we're doing the replatting, would be to go ahead and show an easement on there on this plot 2R for the specific use of lot 1, so that they can continue to maintain and use that driveway where it encroaches on this property.
Yeah.
Which I can easily do. We can definitely add the easement on there and show that, well, it's the limits of the driveway are shown, so that will be the easement. We can put some notes on there. Basically typical notes that we've done before, showing that that's a driveway easement for the specific use of lot 1. So they can continue to keep using it for parking.
And the only reason it was never brought up before is because, and we haven't done it in the past
Mhm.
with the easements, is because it's owned by the same person.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, John doesn't have any, issue with it, of course. But like I said, we could also put notes on there because we'd even entertain possibly removing it. But I think the existing renters like to be able to use it. So I think for right now, we could just add an easement on there, but we could also put notes on there that in the future, if it's ever removed, that the easement becomes null and void.
We don't consider driveways when we're looking at a side
Well,
lot.
and you really
Setbacks.
wouldn't consider it here because like I said, that driveway and that property line is already existing.
No, but I'm talking like, since the driveway isn't treated like a structure when we're looking at side setbacks.
No.
Oh, no.
But you can do the easement. You can put that in.
Yeah, like I said, we already showed the driveway encroachment on the replatting. So really what I would probably do is just hatch that area, a different type of hatch pattern, and then add a asterisk there to C notes. Yeah, I guess we could probably add the notes, and probably about 2 different notes. So I'd probably, say C notes 12 and 13, and we could add some notes on there to the driveway easement and the effect that, it's for the specific use of lot 1.
The proposed house, it looks like you're going to be taking down a bunch of trees.
Yes, and it's actually some canopy in the front there, mostly, but like it was an existing yard. The canopy that you're seeing on there is some of the overhanging canopy coming from the rear of the property. But the previous house that existed there takes
Yeah,
up pretty much,
point.
that concrete stoop that you can see right in the middle of the house.
Right.
That was the front stoop for the existing house. So the house basically sits in there behind that, or used to, the old house. So it's overgrown, but there's not really, I think there's only a couple large trees we have to take down. There's not really, it's just a bunch of large or small undergrowth that's come up over the years since the house has been taken down.
I'm
think-
looking on, I don't know what page 4, and I'm seeing a couple existing wells. This is public, this is gonna be public water.
Yeah.
It's not well,
Yeah, no.
okay,
Sewer and water.
okay,
Yeah, there was,
couple existing wells.
well, there
That might
was,
still be there.
yeah, well, there was an existing well. I think that Mr. Scott has either had that well abandoned or has it under contract with a licensed well driller to have it abandoned. He's done a lot of those recently. And I don't know if. Oh, here we go. No.
Page 4,
Well, no, I was looking to see if I had the well report. 'Cause when they abandon the wells, they usually do a well report. The well driller will do a report, and that gets submitted to the health department to make sure it was done per their requirements per Comar. So I
Okay.
was just looking for a copy of that. But if the existing well on this property has not been abandoned, it will be abandoned. The health department won't stamp off on this plan until it has been.
Okay. Then I'm looking at, if anybody else, I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm on a roll, I guess.
Yeah, go.
Page 5, the front elevation, I'm looking at the garage. It looks like a
Page.
one-car garage. Required, are you gonna park piggyback, then park another car? So it's, so you have, on-site parking for 2 vehicles?
Yes, the driveway is actually wide enough to park 2 cars. And
Okay,
The driveway is actually wider than the garage itself. So you can actually park 2 cars on the property in addition to having the parking space inside the garage. But I know you guys don't count the ones within the garage. So it'll have 2 off-street parking, and it also still has room for off-street parking too in front of the house.
okay.
Or excuse me, 2 off-street and 1 on-street parking space in front of the house.
Yeah, and just picking up on that, we have no design requirements for the town for residential. But it's our strong preference to have garages kind of flush if possible, or even recessed, ideally in the rear of the property, but we know that's often not possible. So, if there's any way, it looks like it comes out about 5 feet. Just visually, from streetscape, we like to keep those, the typical houses in North Beach don't even have garages. So we do like to kind of keep those minimized or less obvious if possible. So we do request that, that if there's any way you can accommodate that, that would be great. And for the door itself, any kind of, variation you can provide to a typical garage door is welcome. Just in terms of improving streetscape and appearance.
Yeah, the garage does sit forward of the face of the house, but the porch actually sits forward from the garage. So when it's actually constructed, it'll seem like the garage is actually sitting back slightly, even though it's only.
Okay, maybe I was misreading that in terms of the. Oh, I see. Because on the first drawing, there's a porch there, but I see it's actually covered. Is that correct? Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, the porch is covered, and then that roof line continues above the garage.
It's the same roof line across. Okay, good. So that we feel is helpful. And then
Yeah,
again,
but the garage, the face of the garage actually sits back, so that roof line overhang in front of the garage will actually hang out further. So I think there's like 2 or 3 feet of overhang over the garage door.
okay.
I didn't want to break up that roof line with the porch, so I continued it over, even though the porch sits out further than the garage.
Yeah, I can see it from the south elevation, and okay, great. And then, anything you can do to kind of provide some visual interest on the garage door is always welcome.
Yeah, I've always tried to include some type of FIPON decorative topping, over the windows or the garage door. I know they've played around with a few different types. Of course, there's so many things to choose from nowadays. That I just put a typical one, but usually I do recommend that they put some type of whether it's FIPON or some other type of product to try to dress it up with a keystone or something to that effect.
Yeah, thank you for that.
No problem.
And you're gonna have a basement on this property.
Yeah, this property slopes down in the back. Well, the property slopes down. I think it doesn't show it that drastically with the contours because they're at 2 foot. Yeah, normally within the beach, I show 1 foot because it's usually so flat. But there's actually, from the front of the house, we're at a 28 and it drops down, to the back of the house about 6 or 7 feet. It's about 6 feet.
Is there stormwater stuff on here somewhere?
Water quality is on the same page as the site plan, Scott.
Yeah, on the second sheet shows the water quality management plan. So we're proposing rain barrels, planting beds, around the house. And then we also had proposed, let's see, where's the legend? Should be, well, actually, it should be in the description. Let's see. Yeah, 3 understory trees in the back to help replace some of the clearing that we're doing in the rear of the property. And I know we had some discussion last time about, understory trees, but, based on the fact that these will be behind the house and there's no other development that's going to occur behind the house, there shouldn't be the chance of these trees becoming very large and having issues with some of the neighbors. Yeah, I think it, in this situation, works with the property.
You have a landscape plan,
What's that?
a landscape plan?
Well, the landscape plan basically is part of the water quality management plan. We don't pick out the actual specific shrub types. We just require that they be on the native species plant list for Calvert County. Also, the understory trees too would have to be on the. If you look at the end of note number 3 on the second sheet, right-hand side, says the proposed design above the title block. Other methods, number 3 describes there's going to be 28 native species shrubs and 3 understory trees to be planted. The note at the very end tells you that they need to be chosen from the native species plant list. Oh, excuse me, that didn't, where did we put it?
So Rick, 5-403 landscaping requirements. A landscaping scheme shall be submitted as part of every category 1 site plan required by the provisions in Article 6.
Yep.
That meets it.
Yeah, I mean, it shows where all the plants are going, shows where the mulch beds are going, describes the number of shrubs and plants they have to have, number of trees, and where they have to come from.
This house is gonna be somewhat overpowering of the 3 existing houses, but the design looks really nice. It's got 3.5 baths. I mean, it's a nice design.
Yeah, it's a lot to fit in. It seems like a lot, but it's actually not a very large footprint considering some of the other ones I've done. But that's usually one of the things that John likes to see, is that everybody has their own bathroom upstairs, or tries to get it if we can. I've actually seen that in, it seems like he was pushing for it, and some might say it's a little overkill, but I tell you what, I do a lot of site plans for a lot of builders, and whether it's a builder or it's just a person building a home for a family or something to that effect. And that seems to be the way it's going, that everybody wants to try to have everybody have their own bathroom, I guess, so their kids have privacy. I'm not really sure. I guess nobody wants to share a bathroom and clean up after one another.
So what do we-
I was gonna ask Rick, can you run us through any implications of the critical area?
So the water quality management plan that was provided is what is required to meet the critical area requirements. The area disturbance is below the 5,000 square foot threshold, so it won't require anything other than the water quality management plan.
Okay.
Yeah, normally we still have been doing the water quality management plans, even if they're not located in the critical area. This one actually does fall in the critical area, so it does meet the requirement, and it is required.
IDA, right?
Yeah.
But to clarify, he's not in that 100-foot buffer.
No.
Okay. They got a whole section on.
What's the height requirement out that way?
40 feet, all of our R1 is 40 feet.
Right, because this looks like it's 41 feet on, I guess is that the, looking at the rear end, the rear. It's 41 and 6 3/4 inches.
That's in the, yeah, in the rear. The front is gonna run,
30
from the front elevation is 31. If you add the other, you went all the way to the peak of the other one, you're still at
35.
about 35, 36, it's below 40.
Okay, okay. That's right, because of the slope.
The slopes running off.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
In Article 10, Part 2. Are we meeting item number 1? And does item number 3 pertain?
Can you read this first?
This won't cross, or this doesn't, this
Does
doesn't
it
cross.
affect? I know it doesn't cross, but does it affect? Because there is a stream down there.
So that's what the water quality management plan does, planting beds, trees, rain barrels. Water quality management plan controls all the stormwater, which would affect any runoff into the stream.
Okay, but B, retained tree canopy.
So the tree canopy is being removed, is being replaced with 3 new trees.
Replace the entire tree canopy that's being removed.
I mean, it meets the standard for the critical area.
Any other comments?
No, and I think what that really talks about is you've got to be putting a driveway across the stream, or it's something that actually is physically affecting that stream. All the other water quality has to deal with the runoff and the pollutant levels.
Well, it does slope in the back, so.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more runoff from the roof now, because there's a roof, there
So
is.
they're containing all of the runoff within the rainbow.
Isn't the little river? Okay, yeah, no, it is in front of San Francisco
Yeah, it's
Avenue.
in front of San
Right,
Francisco.
okay.
I walked up there this afternoon.
You're not seeing it here, though. Where is it?
Yeah. It's not.
It's not on these,
there.
right,
Because it's not on the lot. Doesn't run through the lot.
okay. It doesn't run through the lot, but the lot will have an impact on it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you know, they're dealing with it with all the plants and stuff like that. They're doing actually a very nice job with that.
It would have been helpful to have seen what's on the other side of the paper street, so that we could get some kind of concept of exactly where that stream is located in relation to
I mean,
this
it's
property.
100 feet or more away, so we wouldn't normally show something 100 feet off of a property line.
Don't we though show like lots on the other side?
Yeah, but that, I mean, not 100 feet away. We wouldn't show lots like 4 houses away. Most of our lots are 25 or even 50-foot wide lots. You would have to show 2 or 3 of them to get to that same distance. So it'd be a little-
Frontage or
No,
joint
that's the avenue.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
the stream is gonna be somewhere around here. It's gonna be,
No,
it's gonna be before, yeah. Okay, see, there it is.
Well, there's the lot. It ends here. The
Right.
wetlands and water don't start till right here.
Yeah.
The edge of the
Yeah.
wetland that is down there is 100 feet away from the edge of the property. So we're actually further than that away from it because we're not even disturbing up to the property line.
Right.
not within that buffer that's rude.
Don't do that. Well, I'm good with this. I don't know if there's anybody else has.
Do we have any other lots in town that have dog legs?
We've got a few that are actually square, dog legs, yeah. And this one's, I don't know if I would call this one dog leg, it's just got just just the tiniest bump in the middle.
Yeah, I don't understand why, since you've got the frontage, why it wouldn't be just make it a 50-foot wide.
Well, you could run into making I mean, if you asked us to, you could square it on the 8-foot setback, I guess. But that pinches that property, especially with the water line, but
Yeah, I mean.
otherwise you're encroaching
Oh, yeah,
over onto
that-
the existing house, like putting that into
I
non-compliance.
think
I
it was
guess.
just done just to make it so that there's no variances needed for this
Right.
property, and if they decide in the future to build. Move down the line. They can just do
Then
the
we
same.
undogleg it then?
No, then they could just replat and do 2 straight ones,
They take these out.
if they take those out, yeah.
Any other comments?
Not so much that has to do with the property, but Greenwood Avenue. Does Greenwood Avenues look, does it get narrowed towards the south or the north? I'm looking at, I guess not. I'm just looking at this here. What is that supposed to represent? Those lines, public utility easement. Okay. It's just easement, never mind.
Yeah, that's a big canopy there, and I guess the wetlands started here.
Are you talking about the public utility easement on the front of the property?
Yeah, I sort of answered my own question on that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, when you do a replating now, the county makes you show the SMECO,
Easement.
or actually not SMECO, BG&E, and mainly BG&E, I think, has some type of agreement they had with the town from a while ago. They showed me a deed at one time, but I can't remember the date offhand. But it basically, they have the right to, run public utilities within 10 feet of the front property line. And then I think 4 or 5 feet on either side of property lines going down the property lines to access, I guess, houses on the backside. So the county, even though it's a descriptive easement in a deed from quite a while ago. They make you show those public utility easements now when you do a replatting so that so that they can make it visually seen, I guess, by a prospective property owner or purchaser. So that's why we have to show that now. Anytime we do a replatting, we have to show the public utility easement. That's 10 feet from the right of way.
So it's interesting. I'm learning something all the time. They could actually put a pole almost adjacent to like the porch steps. Based on this, that, it won't happen. It would never happen, but based on that
Yeah.
easement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I've had discussions with BG&E and SMECO, they're always going to keep the utility lines as close to the right of way as they can. Well, any ones that they install today anyway. But that 10 foot on either side of the right of way line, if they keep the pole on the right of way line, that gives them the ability for trucks and, whatever they have to do, grading, to maintain those overhead utilities. Or in the future, if they ever decide to put them underground, it gives them the use of that 10-foot easement for, trucks, grading, clearing. That 10-foot utility easement also gives them the ability for, having Penn Line come out there and trim trees and things of that nature, make sure that there's no structures within it or not just structures, but also people planting shrubs or things. Sometimes they don't want that located within it either.
Okay.
I was going to say shrubs. I'm sorry. I'm more like hardscape.
Any other comments? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, I make a motion that we accept the replat and
With the easement, with the other property. That it shows the easement.
that on it.
What he said,
It shows on the replat.
Right. Yeah. it's on the street.
No, this property, that's the driveway or whatever is actually on, their property. It shows it, but, they don't have, what Nick was saying, they'd have to get an easement for that. Right, Nick? For
For the encroachment.
Yeah, like I was saying, we can go ahead and show an easement with some notes on the replatting before we record it, so that that is documented, so that there's no issue in the future. If John was to ever sell that property, so there's no argument between the two property owners. If the easement is recorded and signed off by both property owners, which is
Right.
Scott Properties, then that'll basically take care of that encroachment for now until something else changes in the future. I think I'd said that maybe they might have us put a note on there that if the driveway is ever removed, then the easement would become null and void. Just in case, if somebody in the future didn't want to even have the driveway encroaching and just felt like correcting it now, they could remove it and the easement would go away.
Okay. So, condition is that. it's helpful.
Let somebody else put that one up then. Look, okay.
Very emotional.
I'm gonna withdraw my motion. Try to restate it, I guess.
Okay, well, I'll put the motion that we approve
Replat.
the replat. And I guess the site plan with one condition that Nick, that easement is, then noted on the replat. Or, it's been agreed or upon with the two parties? But that's Scott. Scott owns both properties.
Doesn't matter. Easement's still there.
Still gonna call it out, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Almost. Yeah.
That's why I don't want to make motions. Yeah, then. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
I don't think you go away. I think the next one's yours too.
Oh, I'm not. I was just wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh, okay.
I understand there's another one. Is that am I the next one on the agenda?
Yep,
Oh, okay. All right.
it's your show tonight. So
What's that?
you guys did 3917 Fifth Street at the last meeting. And Nick discussed that they were gonna be coming with the property next door, so that's what 3919 Fifth Street is. This lot, I'm positive is not located within the critical area. And so they are looking for a referral to the DOA for the side yard setback variances.
The other one had side yard setbacks, right?
Yeah.
For three. Three?
I think they were 5 feet.
The existing house is 3 feet. Good on the front, fine on the back.
This one on Fifth Street is a very, very small house.
Yeah, if you remember, there was some discussion previously about the existing house for this lot is literally on the property line.
Right.
So we've basically centered it on the property. And then the way it's a 19-foot wide house, it's small, and we have 3-foot setbacks on either side to get us to that. It's a 25-foot wide lot, basically.
Yeah, so I think the current house, it's not even, there's not even 3 inches.
There's a monster tree that overhangs that house.
Yeah, they're going to be taking down the trees in the front, and then there's 2 trees in the back that are being taken down. There's still going to be some monster trees on the property on the corner. But the ones that are on this site we're taking down. I think there's 3 in the front. There's one that's like right on the property line between this and the property to the west, lot 46R. And then there's
Right.
two trees in the front of the house, almost in the middle of the lot. And then there's 1 tree behind the existing house, really close to the stairs that come off the deck. And then another large tree that sits right dead smack in the middle of the property in the back, almost on the building restriction line.
Yeah.
But with the location of this, lot, you're allowed that they could clear the whole thing
Because it's on Fifth Street or?
because it's not in the critical area. It's
What's the
But-
square footage of the new house going to be?
I think I had labeled that on the house plans. Hold on, let me open those real quick.
Wait a minute, okay,
I hate driveways.
If you look on the first floor plan, which is sheet 5 of 7 for the house plans, it gives you the first floor area, the front porch area, the rear porch, and the garage area.
1,000 square feet.
What's that?
It's roughly 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, well, the first floor is 788 square feet. The second floor, because there's living space over the garage, is over 1,000. It's 1,026. So in total, it's as far as finished floor area for the house, it's around 1,800 square feet.
Oh, yeah, I was adding the porch in just a little bit.
Are we meeting the open space requirement?
So you're keeping it basically, one level, property, house.
No, it's 2 stories.
Okay,
Plus a,
first floor.
plus a basement.
Yeah,
Plus
it's
a
on a basement. It's just like the lot next to it. This one, I don't know if you remember the last lot, but they both slope down pretty much to that back alley.
I will go ahead and raise the point again, for this house, for, until the town citizens of North Beach decide to have mandatory design guidelines, you can build whatever you want. Yeah. But, visually and in keeping with the town, this, garage is 2/3 of the frontage of this house. I don't think it looks good. I don't think it's in keeping with the town. But as I said, there's no requirement, so, but I still like to raise it in these meetings in the hope of one day we can maybe get some change to that. So that's just my little soapbox speech for this. I think it's disproportionate, especially on this one. You got a relative, I don't know what the width on this is exactly, but the frontage on the street is quite severe, in terms of the balance between the garage door and the rest of the house.
The house is what, 19 feet wide, and so this garage, single car garage is probably gonna be
It's 11.
11.
Yeah,
So
so,
that's most of the front.
yeah, I mean, it's not something that I like, but as I said, it's a suggestion from our end and that's all it is, so.
Um, Is the garage is gonna be in the basement, so you're literally gonna go in the garage door and go down?
No, the garage is on the first floor. If you look at the front elevation, you can see that the garage floor elevation sits lower than the first floor and you step up into the house, but it's only about 2 steps.
There's no basement where the garage is. You're looking at the basement. Yeah, so there's no basement here.
Okay,
That's at ground level.
Yeah,
And
the
then
garage,
this is-
the garage
Okay.
isn't
Yeah,
as excavated
the
out as
slab.
deep as the basement. Correct.
Yeah, the garage is a slab and then the rest is
okay.
dug out for the same as the previous one.
Let's look at the plan.
I just wish y'all would add more windows to the sides of these houses.
I mean, unfortunately, we've added as many as we can for what the house will allow as far as the footprint and the layout. I mean, it's on the both sides can be, I don't think you're going to get much visual from the street. You're basically just going to be looking into the neighbor's house.
That's true.
I don't think the neighbors like looking at a blank wall either. And just because I can say this, my house is 18 feet wide and I have windows on all 4 sides of my house. I have a lot of windows because that's how they built the houses. It's just
Well, we
that-
do have some, which is, better than none.
There are.
But we've placed as many as we can, where we're trying to hold back basically, but we also want to make sure there's wall space for, within the rooms to keep, the headboard for beds and dressers and things of that nature.
No, I know, I deal with that. It's
Um,
just a comment, personal preference.
I got you. Mhm.
So a couple questions from me. Current setbacks on the side are 3 feet. I thought, did you say, Rick, that they're asking for any setbacks or so they're seeking referral to the Board of Appeals for variances? Is that it's currently 3 feet now. Is that because the foundation's being the building's being demolished and a new foundation's being built? Because it looks to be the same 3-foot setback on the proposed house. Or am I not reading this right?
The 3-foot setback on both sides is what's being proposed.
Uh-huh.
The existing house on the west side is sitting right on the property line. But on the other side, it's
Oh, I see. So you're centering it.
on the other side, it sits oh, why isn't this working? Oh, there it goes. It's sitting basically about 6 or 7 feet off the property line. We're basically just centering the house, like you
Yeah.
just mentioned. And we're meeting the front and the rear setback. But we nonetheless, because we're increasing the house footprint, because it's a small footprint to begin with that exists, we're requesting variances on both the side setbacks from the Board of Appeals for the construction of this house.
Okay. And then considering the proximity of the houses next door, any structural issues with the basement, the foundation, building and basement?
On the house on lot 46R, if you remember, we came in last week to replace that one. So that house is going to be torn down and replaced.
Okay. Yeah, I was not here at the last meeting.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. I apologize.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's this, Rick had alluded to it at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay.
We had come in for a site plan on lot 46R last month to replace that house with a similar house footprint as the one on 44R, which was constructed, I think, back in, let's say 2017, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
So when we were doing that, that was one thing that was brought up, is the fact that the house on the lot we're discussing today is right on the property line. And we were asking for setback variances for lot 46R from 8 feet to 5 feet.
Okay.
But I had made the comment that, yeah, well, next month, I had told them that I was working on this site and we were going to be coming in. We were going to be replacing that house, moving it off the property line 3 feet, and centering the new house on the property, but asking for variances nonetheless.
Okay.
Nick, I know you're gonna be doing siding on the house. You got 3 houses like pretty close to each other. Hopefully you're using different colored siding or,
Yes, and I actually, John Scott's grandson, who's doing the contract, basically, I don't know if he's going to be kind of replacing Earl Patty's position. But he had given me some samples. I believe I had forwarded those to Rick. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Let's see. But they were all, they were all going to be different colors. I think the house on 44R, which was constructed, like I said, I think around 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, is like it's a red. I believe it's a Main Street Certainty. Let's see, look here. Yeah, I think that one was the autumn red.
Yeah, similar to the same party board that he's been putting on all the others.
And then
Dark.
the hardy board's nice, yeah.
Nick,
yes,
this is Debbie. I have the specific colors for 3919 will be flagstone and 3917 will be seagrass.
okay, yeah, I just found the email.
Yeah, and greenwood will be Savannah wicker, if anybody
Yes.
cares about that one.
They're different colors, so yeah, it's not a, not all the same. So that's nice. Have no idea what those colors are, but sounds nice.
Rick, if you pull up your 7/27 email from me, if you have the ability to, it shows I forwarded you what Jared had sent me for the color selections of the siding.
And how many rain barrels are gonna be for this house?
For this house, let's see. Next sheet, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, sort of at the points, towards the back, at the back of this, that's the porch, okay, that's the front of the house.
Yeah.
So towards the front, with 3-foot setbacks, which are being done, the rain barrel, that's about 2 feet wide right off the bat. So it's getting around a rain barrel to, if there's maintenance or something that needs to be done, or emergency needs to get, I don't know.
Well, there is a,
Makes it tight, but we don't have any choice when you have a small, the lot lines are small.
well, I can tell you that the alley behind the house off of Frederick Avenue,
Mhm.
I don't believe it goes all the way through, but it does, it is gravel and it does go behind this property. So
Right,
If there
okay.
was an emergency, they could access definitely through the rear if they had to.
What day was that you sent those, Nick?
Yeah, there's an L.
7/27.
I think shows them on the corner. I try to push them to.
If you want, I can just forward you the email right now, Rick.
Yeah, because all I have is the replat on there. The recording from the replat on the 27th.
I might have sent this later in the day. Okay, I just forwarded it to you.
Okay. I remember you sending them, and I thought that I had included them, but then, been a hectic month. Peace.
Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
They're seagrass. I don't know which ones they're doing, but yep, looks good. The different colors.
One suggestion for me, just on because you're taking down I think 2 trees in the front here. I know there's not a lot of space, but considering the driveway and the height of the building, it would be great if you could squeeze a small tree in that front yard, even a dwarf or something to get some height and kind of buffer that building from the street. You probably only have about in front of those stairs, but if there's any way in that little open area in front, you could get some visual height on a tree or even a larger shrub, that would be it would be nice to kind of give a bit of buffer from the street.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely bring that up to, well,
I
actually,
mean, obviously, you're not going to get a big
Jared's
oak
on
tree or
here, so
something in there,
he's-
but yeah, but if there's any way to get some height to that vegetation, like I said, a dwarf tree or a larger shrub or something, I feel just to give it a bit of softness from a big driveway and a big frontage on the house.
Absolutely. We will, I'm out of it now. And once the house comes to, or close to completion and landscaping goes in, we will absolutely include a tree of some sort.
Okay. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
of course, we'd always appreciate some trees in the back too. It's not required or anything, but considering a couple large trees are being taken down. And I know you need some, like, it's good to have yard in the back, but even smaller trees or things that can, kind of replace what's been taken out, that would be appreciated if possible.
I agree. I definitely agree with something of the dwarf variety that's not going to be 100 feet tall 50 years from now.
Yeah, something,
But-
12, 15, 18 feet high that,
If you look at the trees that are there now, they should probably come out anyway. They're already causing damage to the side.
yeah, I mean, those are too big, but something,
The wrong,
yeah.
nice tree, wrong place.
We definitely want it to be as appealing to the eye as the next person. So something,
Yeah. And I think it'll be appealing for resale or sale, I should say, as well. So,
absolutely.
any other comments, suggestions?
Comment, appreciate you showing the foundation outline on a tight property like that. Makes it easier to understand what you're trying to do. So thanks for sketching that out.
And we do need to respond to the request for referral to the Board of Appeals. As we've been doing we can just refer. We usually add comments if need
Yeah.
be, or,
Yeah, so normally you make a referral to the Board of Appeals saying no objections to the setback.
oh, so this, I forgot that that's exactly what this is tonight, right? It's not even an approval. It's just for
Oh,
referral
right.
to the Board of Appeals. Yeah. So.
Well, we were a little more thorough than that.
Well, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to approve the house based on the Board of Appeals or have it come back. It's entirely up to you.
I mean, it's certainly, I haven't sensed any severe reservations about it. And so maybe we could do that to speed things up a bit. So we approve it pending Board of Appeal approval.
I'll second that.
Any recommendations, and you don't have any objections to the 3 foot?
I mean, I don't, it's centering on the lot. It's redistributing the setbacks now probably better than they were. So,
Yeah, because I think, I don't think there's even 6 inches
Yeah.
between this house and the property line.
Right,
It's probably less than that.
It's notionally 19 feet. So
Yeah.
on a 25 lot, that's about what you can do.
okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve as presented pending Board of Appeal approval?
Okay, I'll do the motion to, let me get back to okay,
I have it.
you got it,
Approve as presented.
Board of Appeals, absolutely.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your time and for entertaining all our questions.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes,
Oh, no problem. You guys have a good evening.
thank you.
Nice.
Any other
Thank you all.
business? Thank you.
Looks
Any,
like there's one more person up there. I don't know if she has any questions.
No, I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Harrison. He has been I believe he was out of the state. I think he had a death in the family. He did contact me about a week ago, said he does have an update for us, so I did not hear back from him today. As soon as I hear something, I'll send something out.
okay.
Does this other person have anything? Yeah.
Any comments or other business from the attendees?
I guess not.
No?
No,
All
thank
right. Okay, go ahead. Is that Carmen?
Yes, I don't have anything. Thank you.
We're gonna do, I'm going to discuss some of those things that we need to work on as corrections that the attorney pointed out.
We were, and I think we're gonna try and have Mr. Harrison here so we could try and do it all at once. And I was
Okay.
gonna send something out, and then he went out. And then I made a note when I said, I knew there was something I was supposed to send you all, and it was the tree descriptions. I told you I was gonna send you a list of the native tree plants that critical areas
Oh,
sends out. So I'll send that out in the morning. Everybody has it.
Well, are we ever gonna discuss or get back to the intent of the years ago about in the commercial or the mixed use area, the first floor being retail and,
Well, that's,
yeah, that was.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
we were
that's-
Talking about the special meeting.
Yeah.
okay,
yeah, we have to schedule a work session to do that, and I figured we're gonna do it. We might as well have Mr. Harrison here to give the update on.
Yep.
Try and wrap up two things at once.
okay.
Motion to close the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.